पालना कमावा। संकल्प सास तुमने बच्चों पे है लुटाए।
ओम शांति। ओम शांति। और आप सभी का
Om Shanti and a hearty welcome to all of you to this program, especially a warm welcome of our respected brother Banarasi Bhai. Whenever someone comes from Madhuban, then we experience so much peace. Today's program is very special because we know that there are very few of us fortunate souls. Yes, many would have received tolis and gifts, but after that, few souls who have received, taken, who have lived with Dadis and seen their stage. And our respected Dr. Banarasi ji is one of those brothers. He's a member of our family, but today we've got some new members also. So today I'd like to give Dr. Banarasi's introduction in brief. Dr. Banarasi got a degree in this medicine DHMA on 1973, and after that he joined Baba's service by surrendering to Baba. From 1975, you have been practicing Raj Yoga and joined the medical wing. When we go to Shantiwan, then we see the Ever Healthy Hospital. You are also a trustee and a co-treasurer of the GHRC Global Hospital Research Center. I would like to listen to more of you, but first I'd just like to share two more things. In 2001,
नए आयामों की खोज पर होम्योपैथी के कांग्रेस में विशेष सम्मान से सम्मानित किया गया है.
Received a special award in the homeopathy field in 2001. And you also received a special award. And today's program is also special because today's program is in two parts. The first part, you're going to share with us the memories that you have. And then after half the program, I will interview you. Aruna Didi will also come and speak to you. So first we'd like to listen to you.
Thank you.
You may start now.
हाँ जी, एक सेकंड.
Om Shanti, Dr. Banarasi, welcome.
Om Shanti, thank you, Didi, thank you.
Welcome to Dr. Banarasi. It is my great fortune that today that I am coming to Kuwait. Respected Sister Jayanti, Sister Aruna, Sister Pavitra, from Madhuban, Bapdada and the Advanced Party Dadis, and those who are still in Madhuban with us, Dadi Ratan Moini, Nirver Pai. Everyone is giving many greetings What can I say? Many, many thanks to each one of you. Today, I feel it's my great fortune that without a ticket, without a passport required, without any visas, I am with all of you. It's your love that has pulled me there in front of all the brothers and sisters abroad. And so, to all my double foreign brothers and sisters, many, many greetings, many, many thanks. Om Shanti, greetings. Thanks from my heart to each one of you. I'm sharing something from the very beginning. When the service abroad began, at that time we didn't even have Gyan Sarovar. We didn't have Shantivan. It was just Pandavavan. And there was such a splendor when the double foreign brothers and sisters came to Madhuban in Pandavavan. I, I remember those days. Dadis, daddies, they used to be so happy seeing the double foreign brothers and sisters, saying that Baba's Jews have come. So today I remember those days, and I feel it's my great fortune to be meeting those Jews. Aruna Didi is the instrument to make this happen, and so many, many thanks to all of you. It's been my great fortune that I've stayed very close to the Dadis, whether it was when they were in a good condition, when they were not so well. In those days, it was only me who was the doctor in the yagya. So if anyone had any problems, whether it was a senior Dadi or anyone else, whether it was checking their BP, checking their sugar levels, I used to go to them, I used to come close to them, and I learned a lot from them. From the beginning of the establishment of the yagya, I am seeing how Baba said, what did Baba tell them in the beginning? Baba said, child, the next Diwali is not going to come. Whatever you want to do, you have to do that now. Whatever effort you want to make, you have to do that now. So they stayed awake through the whole night and did tapasya and and this is how Baba made Dadis complete. It wasn't that the Dadis will become perfect and then service will begin. No, they didn't know any of that. Baba made the sisters do tapasya for 14 years. Once I was traveling with Dadi Chandramani, and I asked her, Dadi, tell us something of the early days. And Dadi said, in order to make us forget the consciousness of the body, look what Baba told us and showed us from the beginning. Although I have to write the name Chandramani, I have to write down, it's the soul of Chandramani who is writing it. It's the soul of Gopi when Didi was writing. When Dadi Kumaka was writing, her other name was Rama. So then she would be writing, the soul of Rama is writing. So Baba made them practice soul consciousness in this way and made them forget the awareness of the body. When Shiv Baba entered Brahma Baba, then Shiv Baba gave him the introduction that you are a soul. So Brahma Baba was so intoxicated with this, all the time he would say, I am a soul, I am a soul. And you would have heard that from the classes of the Dadis, so I'm not going to go into expansion of that. But the main thing was, Baba was really intoxicated with and so much concerned that I'm just a soul. And this made Baba forget that he was the body. Every moment he would think, I'm a soul. When he looks at another person, he'd say, is a soul. He'd look at his wife and he'd say, she's a soul. He'd look at his daughter and he'd say, she's a soul. So in this way, Baba forgot the awareness of the body. So whoever looked at Baba, they wouldn't see Baba, they would see just the angel. They would see a beautiful angel instead of the human being. Once I remember Baba's Yugal, Jashoda, she was preparing breakfast and she had prepared breakfast. So, and then she was Baba's daughter and Baba's daughter-in-law. They were young girls at that time. Yeah. So she said, you go and feed Baba the breakfast, take breakfast to Baba. So there's a sister and sister-in-law, and they said, you've made this with so much love, so why don't you go and feed Baba? And then she said, when I go to Baba, I can't see Baba. I just see Narayan or I see Krishna. So who am I going to feed breakfast to? And so both of them said, Mummy, it's not only you who see him as Narayan. When I go there in front of Brahma Baba, I don't see Dad there. I see Narayan or Krishna. So means Baba had so much practice of this. He did so much tapasya that he completely forgot the awareness of the body, and not only himself forgetting it, but others who would see him, they would see him as Narayan or Krishna. They wouldn't see him as the physical human being that he was. They also would become bodiless. So from the beginning, this was his practice. So this should be our final effort. Many times I've heard from Daddy Janki that she would say, my final breath also. Just think about it. In her, she came to Baba at such a young age, and from that time onwards, she had been concerned about what her final breath should be. So thinking that this has been my final breath, thinking about that till the last moment, she reached until the age of 104. So means Baba made her forget the awareness of the body. And having done this, Baba said, child, tomorrow you're not going to see. Diwali is not going to come. Means you don't know when the last moment is going to be. And Baba just got them engrossed in tapasya. So from that day till today, they were just so lost in tapasya. Santosh Didi from Siam, Bombay, she's in charge of the Maharashtra zone. Once she was sharing her experience. When I came to Baba, Baba sent her to Daddy Janki in Pune. There were 8 to 10 Kumaris. Sister Jayanti was also there with Dadi in Pune. So Santosh Pen, Sundri Didi, all of them were there with Daddy Janki. And Daddy Janki would give a duty to all of them. And they would all be engrossed in their duties from morning. But Dadi herself would be sitting. That was the first time she had gone to Pune. So she would do her service and she would be watching Dadi also. What is Dadi doing? And she couldn't just understand. So she said, what, Daddy, what are you doing? And so Daddy said, well, I'm grinding into myself. In India, they have this vessel for grinding the grains and everything. So in those days, Baba had made them do tapasya for 14 years, even staying with Baba. But and now when they sent her on to service, then Dadi is sitting in silence and is looking into her own self. And so Santosh Didi asked, and she said, well, I'm grinding into myself. And she says, how can you be grinding this? There's none of these physical things. And so, how are you doing this? Because it wasn't as though she was doing this physically, but she was grinding this awareness into herself of just that she's a soul, not this body. Means from the very beginning, they did so much tapasya that she became equal to the Father. And it's because of this that even when Baba became Avyakta, 18 January 69, Baba became Avyakt, and there was a few daddies, and they were able to look after the yagya. So anyone who came from outside after that, they never gave anyone the feeling that Baba is not here, that Baba has gone, because the daddies would give such sustenance, they gave such the experience of knowledge and yoga that they completely forgot that Baba is not here. Not just 69, but also sharing one thing about Mama. What should our efforts be in the final moments? So now we can see that it is now the final moments, but just talking about in those days, Mama was in Bombay. In those days, the Yagya didn't have a car, but Ramesh Bhai had a car, and he used to take Mama to the hospital or other places. So and Mama was sitting in the front, Nirvay Bhai was at the back, and they were traveling, and on the road they had the signboards. Ramesh Bhai was driving, but his vision fell on something. So the car was moving at a fast speed, and so the car just went ahead. And Ramesh Bhai turned towards Mama and said, Mama, did you see this board? And so Mama said, when there is service, then Mama is in this body. When there's no service, then Mama is with Baba, not in this body. So just think what Mama's effort would be like. If she's got service to do, she'll be in the body. If she's not got any service, then she'll be bodiless and she'd be with Baba. So what should our effort be like? Am I able to see the final scene? So just think, a tiny virus, COVID-19, has created so much upheaval in the whole world. All of you are fully aware of what's happening. So I don't want to go into that too much, but just this virus has totally shaken the whole world. Each one stage is fluctuating, just this tiny virus. And Baba had told us many types of virus will come. All of this is going to be happening. We can see. So what more will there be in the final moment? It is the final moments that we are going through. And so what should our preparation be? The Dadis didn't have this scene in front of them, but still the mantra that Baba had given them was, children, the next Diwali is not going to come. So for them, that was the final moment. And so they never made effort thinking they're going to see next year. So Baba had made this completely firm in them, that these are your final moments. That is to say, these are your final moments, and so use these in a worthwhile way. So this was the inspiration that we got from Dadis. It was a beggary part in those days. Everything used to be done so economically, but there was so much love. Just what can I say? I just share my own personal experience in those days. I'm talking about 1972. When I came, I was new in Madhuban, and I was given the duty of working in the kitchen, preparing, cooking Surya Bai. I used to help him. I didn't have any kind of arrogance that I'm a doctor, and so why should I be cooking? It was a Thursday, and my duty was to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, make tea, and when people come at 3:30 to have yoga, they should receive hot tea. Then they can go and have, they can go and do their yoga. But in those days, it was so economical, and the wood used to be in an open area, and in those days, it used to be in an open area, and so that the when it was raining, the wood got wet, and there wasn't any space to dry the wood. We used to cook on this kind of fire, which was made with this coal and everything. And so we used to keep the wet wood near this area so that the wood would dry up. And this was Thursday morning. There wasn't so much dry wood. And so we didn't have any paraffin or anything because this was the bakery part. There wasn't any kerosene I could use. So I used to blow into the fire to, there used to be smoke coming because the wet wood would not burn. And yes, so fine, I made the tea, but then my eyes became red also. And in those days, Didi would give nectar to all of us. So after Bhog, I went to take nectar from Didi. She put her hand on my head and she said, "Brother, today your eyes are red." And so I said, but today the wood was not burning, so, and so I had to burn, I had to blow into it. And so Didi said, look after yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Means like a mother, she told me, with so much love, you take care of it. And I really cannot forget that day because she had so much concern for me that I should do everything without harming myself in any way. So such altruistic love, such altruistic service. When they used to receive the rice, the grains, the wheat, the dal, then they used to have just this area by the Tower of Peace, and just in the courtyard, it was, sorry, just the Tower of Peace, which was a clean place. Everywhere else was just dust. It wasn't a properly cemented floor like we have in the courtyard now. I mean, so just imagine Didi, who was so old herself, she couldn't sit on the floor, but she would sit on a chair and she would clean the rice, she would clean the grains. And so all of us also learned this from the Dadis, and till today, doesn't matter what service it is, we never say that, no, I'm a doctor or I'm so and so, I'm a director, so I cannot do this kind of service. No. This is my family. This is Baba's family. And so it's my fortune to be able to receive the opportunity to do even this type of service. So what did I learn from the Dadis? Once Sandeshi Dadi, who's the sister of Dadi Shantamani, she was an assistant, and Baba always used to be very quiet and serious, and so she used to make entertain Baba and try and make him laugh. And she had been sent to Orissa. So I first came to Madhuban. Dadi gave me so much sustenance, and then Sandeshi Dadi, she brought me to Madhuban and made me surrender. And so she had said to Dadi that I'm leaving this child here. So until you have some service for him, let him stay here. When there's no service, then you send him to me again. But from that day, there's never been a day when there wasn't any service. And so I'm still here. So, but once Dadi had sent me to Orissa, Bhubaneswar, and there were many Kumars there. There was a little bit of conflict there.
दादी को बहुत ये था, मेरे से स्नेह था, आज्ञाकारी थे।
Dadi had a lot of love for me, and yes, of course, I was obedient, and so she had love for me.
दोनों एक साथ ज्ञान में
So
आए।
Ram Shlokpai and myself, we both came into knowledge together, and we were there
मैं
together.
शरीर छोड़ूं तो बनारसी कहाँ भी हो उसको बुलाना, वो अग्नि संस्कार वो करेगा।
And then she said, wherever Banarasi Bhai is, when I leave my body, he should come there and do the final lighting of the fire, a pyre, when I leave my body. But then there was one Kumar, he was sharing his experience that Dadi
सचमुच फरिश्ता थी।
Dadi was not Dadi, Dadi was an angel.
एक बार की बात है, मुझे बहुत नाराजगी हुआ, बहुत ये
At
हुआ,
once I was very upset and I was really fighting with Dadi. I said a lot of things to Dadi,
और बोल करके
many
मैं चला गया।
wrong things, and I left.
दादी रहती थी नीचे ग्राउंड फ्लोर पर पार्किंग रोड के पास स्कूटर पार्क किया था।
Dadi used to stay on the first floor, and down below on the ground floor, they have this place where they park the scooters.
बहुत डांटा था, बहुत कुछ बोला था, तो अभी
I said a lot to Dadi, but Dadi didn't say a word.
ह्यूमन है,
She's a human being, but still she didn't say a word.
भूलने के लिए आपके
But in order to forget all of these things,
चक्कर लगा रही थी।
Dadi then just was continuing with her own thing.
स्कूटर स्टार्ट कर रहा है,
And then Dadi saw that she saw that this brother is,
और दादी ने बहुत प्यार से स्माइल किया और हाथें हिलाई।
even after this brother had said so much,
आंसू आ गया, वो फिर से लौट के दादी के पास नहीं गया क्षमा मांगने के लिए, गुस्से में था।
but Dadi didn't say a word, but she just saw that he's riding the scooter now, so she just waved him by and gave him a smile.
क्लास में सुनाया।
Then he's saying the next day I shared this experience in the class that I got so angry with her. I'd said so many things to her, and yet she just waved goodbye to me with a smile, even after they heard me say so many things to him. So really, this is what we took in our lives, that no matter what happens, we are Baba's children,
बदला नहीं लेना है।
that we mustn't take revenge from anyone. Yes, we have to change ourselves, but not seek revenge in any way. The Hindi words are rhyming.
वर्णन नहीं किया।
So Dadis never spoke of anyone's
इतना
weaknesses.
श्रेष्ठ काम किया कि रियलाइज हो कि मेरे में ये कमी है।
They performed such elevated tasks that they made each one realize that they had this particular weakness. What does Avyak Bab Dada do?
कमियों को नहीं देखते हैं।
He doesn't look at our weaknesses. What does he tell us?
दृष्टि देते हैं।
He first gives us drishti and then he begins the murli. And what's the first thing he says? That this is a gathering of the Raj Rishis.
ये होली हंसों की
This is a gathering of the holy swans.
बादशाहों की
This is a gathering of the carefree emperors.
हर मुरली आप अव्यक्त मुरली देखेंगे,
If you look at each of Baba's murlis,
महिमा किया।
all that Baba would do is first of all praise the children, raise their intoxication,
शिक्षा देनी होती थी।
so that whatever teaching Baba wants to give, they're able to imbibe that. Baba then used to say whatever he had to say.
के साथ इतना प्यार था।
Baba had so much.
आप कल संडे को अव्यक्त मुरली सुनेंगे, विदेशी भाई बहनों से बाबा का मिलन है। बाबा किस नजर से देखता है कि हमारे ऊंचे बच्चे हैं, ऊंचे से ऊंचे बच्चे हैं।
With which vision does Baba look at the children? They are the highest children.
ऊंचे बाप के बच्चे हैं।
We are the children of the highest on high Father. So if the Father is the highest on high, just imagine what their vision would be, what their attitude would be, what their thoughts would be, what their interaction would be. What is the vision that they would look at others with?
कितना उन दिनों में तो एक-एक विदेशी भाई बहनों से, एक-एक भाई बहनों से बाबा 10-10 मिनट बातें।
Baba used to speak at least 10 minutes to each of the foreign brothers and sisters. The brothers who used to come from abroad,
भाई बहने वहाँ किसी कारणवश नहीं आते थे तो वो लोग कार्ड भेजते थे।
if someone was not able to come, then they would send a card. You're going to meet Baba, so take my card
भाई
to
बहन
Baba.
से मिल करके बाबा की
So
डोली मुख में
that
उठा
person
करके और
is,
धीरे से अपने बैग
they've
से
met
कार्ड
Baba, they've
निकाल
taken
करके
Toli from
बाबा के
Baba,
हाथ में
and then they
पकड़ाता
will
है।
take out
टेबल
slowly
पर
the
नहीं
card
रखता है,
from
बाबा के
Baba.
हाथ में पकड़ाता है।
They
ये
don't put it on
मोहब्बत
the
कैसे थे,
table,
वो दिन भी कितने प्यारे थे
but they would
कि
take
वो
this and put
कहता
it
था
in Baba's
बाबा
hand.
फलाने भाई ने फलाने बहन ने एक कार्ड भेजा है। बाबा मुस्कुरा करके हाथ में लेते थे और क्या कहते थे, बच्चे ये कार्ड तो तुम 8 दिन के बाद हमारे को दे रहे हो। ये कार्ड जब बच्चा मॉल में गया संकल्प किया कि ये कार्ड खरीद करके बाबा
What Baba was saying that, child, you're coming here after so many days and giving me the card now, but I received the card the moment the child had the thought that he wants to give that card to Baba.
आपका संकल्प बाबा के पास पहुंच रहा
Your thought has reached Baba. His thought had reached Baba. Whatever thought you have, it reaches Baba. Many brothers and sisters from abroad will say,
करेंगे तो हम लोग वहाँ बैठे रहते थे, सुनते रहते थे। तो एक भाई ने कहा बाबा योग नहीं लगता है वहाँ, यहाँ तो योग बहुत अच्छा लगता है, विदेश अपने घर जाते हैं तो वहाँ योग नहीं लगता है। बाबा ने
they
कहा
say when we go abroad, we're not able to have yoga. But Baba said, at Amrit Vela, when you wake up, then just have something to drink and come to Madhuban. Go around the 4 pilgrimage places.
याद करो अमृत बेला,
Remember what the sustenance that you received from Baba. Remember it at Amrit Vela.
हम लोगों को इतना दादियों से सीखने को मिला,
We learned so much from the Dadis.
किसकी महिमा करूं, किसकी बात सुनाऊं,
Which one can I praise? Each one greater than the other.
इतनी उनकी त्याग, इतनी उनकी
So much
तपस्या,
renunciation, so much tapasya. It really was so wonderful.
जीभ का कैंसर,
One daddy had a tongue cancer,
मैं उनको ले गया अहमदाबाद
and
बॉम्बे,
I took her to Bombay
हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट किया
and admitted her into the
और कल
hospital.
उनकी सर्जरी होने वाली है,
And
जीभ
she's
कटने
about
वाला
to
है।
have a surgery. Her
अब सुबह
tongue
सुबह
is
वो
going to be
डॉक्टर के पास,
cut.
डॉक्टर बनारसी भाई
And she calls me
मेरे
and
पास
says,
आएंगे, हम सोचा कि शायद दादी
Dr.
हमारी
Banarasi, will you come to
चलो
me?
अभी हम सर्जरी नहीं कराएंगे।
I thought maybe she's going to say, I don't want to have the surgery
मैं
done.
सोचते जा रहा था सीढ़ी
I'm
से
just
उतरते
thinking
उतरते,
about these things as I was coming down the steps.
जब उनके पास गया
But when I
तो
reached
दादी क्या
her,
कहती है,
and
भाई
what does she tell
मेरा
me?
9 बजे आज सर्जरी होने वाला है,
I'm going to have a surgery
ये
at 9
चीज कट
o'clock.
जाएगा, बाबा के मुरली में पढ़ूंगी या न पढ़ूंगी, मेरी आवाज निकलेगा या न निकलेगा, अभी तो मेरी आवाज निकल रही है।
She says, when my tongue is
क्लास
cut,
में ले चलो,
I don't know whether I'll be able to read Baba's Murli and share it with others or not. At least at the moment I'm able to speak. So please take me to class so that I'm able to read Baba's Murli. So just think that she's given her life to Baba.
बाबा को हमने तन मन
She
धन
didn't say,
सब
what
कुछ दे
happened? I've
दिया,
given Baba body, mind, and wealth, and
इतना
yet
साल यज्ञ किया
I've
सेवा किया,
given, I've done
बाबा की
service of the
मुरली में
Yagya for
बीमारी
so
निकल
long,
रही
and
थी,
so Baba
अब
cannot
मेरी जीभ कट रही है,
finish
ये
this
कल्पना
illness
उन्होंने
that
नहीं
I'm
किया,
going to
नहीं
have my
जीभ
tongue
कटने
cut.
वाली है, अभी जीभ
But
ठीक है,
no,
मेरी आवाज ठीक
she
है,
said,
मेरे को ले
my
चलो, मैं
voice
मुरली
is
पढ़ूंगी,
fine at the
आज
moment. I'm able to
मुरली
speak, but then I don't know what happens afterwards.
पढ़ूंगी या
So
नहीं
at least
पढ़ूंगी,
let me
आवाज
speak the Murli now. So she wanted to go to class and share the Murli. So this is what we learned from the Dadis.
हम जो कर्म किए हैं
Whatever
उसका
actions we have done,
तो करना है,
we
हमने
have to
दादियों को देखा,
settle the accounts.
बहाना नहीं, कभी
We
शिकायत
never
नहीं,
heard any
पूरा
complaints from the
अच्छा ये
Dadis.
बीमारी है, ठीक है आने दो, कोई
We say, yes, there's a little bit of this illness, and they say,
एक
okay,
बार
fine,
दादी
let it
क्या
come. Once Dadi
दिल्ली गई
Gulzar
थी,
was
बाथरूम
in
में गिर
Delhi,
गई,
she
ये
had fallen in the
फ्रैक्चर हो गया
bathroom,
स्पाइन
and
का,
so her spine was
आप
fractured.
सोच सकते हैं
So you
स्पाइन
can just
फ्रैक्चर
imagine
कितना दर्द होता है,
there's so much pain when someone has something happening to their
दिल्ली से फ्लाइट
spine.
से लेकर के
So then we took a flight from Delhi
अहमदाबाद लाए,
and brought her to Ahmedabad.
अहमदाबाद में एडमिट किया, डॉक्टर आकर के देखा,
She was admitted into the hospital in Ahmedabad.
सब देख लिया,
She was
फिर
checked
कहा
by
कि
the
दादी
doctor,
बेड रेस्ट करो, 3
and
महीना कंप्लीट बेड रेस्ट
and the
करना
doctor
है,
told her, Daddy, you have to have complete bed rest for 3
दादी को
months.
दर्द है
Dadi had pain, but she didn't say even once that she had pain. What's the language that Dadi uses?
इतनी दवाइयों के फैक्ट्री है वो कोई
Brother, you have so
नहीं
many
बनाते हैं
medicine factories.
ये नहीं
Can
बोले
you
कि
not
मेरे को
give me a
दर्द है
medicine to help me in this? She didn't say, I have pain. And yes, there can be injections for this, but still,
दादी को इंजेक्शन लगवाया कि दादी ये नहीं कहा कि
Dadi
मेरे
was
को
given
दर्द
the
है
injection, but
आज
still
भी
Dadi didn't say,
दादी
I have
बोली
this
मैं चुप
pain.
है दादी
Until
को
today,
सब
I've stayed with Dadi for so
गामदेवी में
long.
रही
Dadi was in
हर
Gamdevi
महीने
for over 2
महीने में
years.
1-2 बार जाती थी
Every month or 2 months, I would go and visit her, but still Dadi never said from her lips, I
कभी
have
किसी
this
पशु
pain.
को दर्द की चीज
You
नहीं
never
सुना
saw any trace of
नहीं
any illness or any
एक बार
pain
की
on her
बात है
face.
शाम का टाइम है भाई
Once I
काम
remember
हो
in the
गया है आप
evening,
लोग बोलिएगा तो हम बंद करेंगे तो एक बार शाम का समय
once in the evening,
दादी अकेले बैठी है दादी
Dadi
को
was
काम
sitting by
करने वाली अपनी
herself.
बहनें अपनी छोटी छोटी
The
दुआओं
sisters
में
who
बैठी है
take care of Dadi were engrossed in their own services.
चिंतन में बैठी है
And Dadi is
मैं
just lost in
कुर्सी लेके
herself.
दादी के
So I
नजदीक
took
बैठ
a
गया
chair and sat close to
थोड़ी
Dadi.
देर तो दादी से दृष्टि लिया
I just took
फिर मैं
drishti from
पूछा
Dadi
दादी
for some time, and then I
क्या
asked
होता
her,
है
Dadi, do you have any
तो मुस्कुराई
difficulties, any
बोली मैंने
problems?
आपको बोला क्या कि मुझे
She
कुछ
smiled and she
दर्द
said,
नहीं
have I said I have any
दादी
problem?
चिंतन में है
And I just saw Dadi was completely
मैंने
lost in her
पूछा दादी
thoughts.
आप बहुत गहरी चिंतन में कहाँ
That,
खो
Daddy,
गई
you're
हैं
lost in such a deep thought. Is there
तो
something
दादी
wrong?
बोलती है
And Daddy
मैं यही
said,
सोच रही हूँ
I'm just
संसार में
thinking,
कितने लोगों को दुख है
so many people in
कितने
the world
दर्द
have so
कैसे
much
मिटाया
sorrow, and I'm
जाए
thinking, how can their pain and their
बाबा ने
suffering be
समझाए
removed? What can we do to help them?
हमने अंदर में सोचा
And so I was just
कमाल है
thinking, it's a
बाबा
wonder, Baba,
दादी को
that
अपनी तकलीफ है अपनी
Dadi
तकलीफ को
is
चिंता
going through
नहीं
some
है
difficulty, but she is
ये
not
नहीं
worried
बोला कि
about her
बाबा जी
own
अकेले
pain.
बैठी है कि बाबा मेरे तकलीफ को
She
दूर
is
करो
not
मैं
saying to
मधुबन
Baba,
जाऊंगा
Baba, remove my
मैं
illness so that I
चलूंगी
can go to
वो
Madhuban.
नहीं रो रही
Baba,
आंसू
get
लिए
me
भगवान
well
से क्या
quickly so
करती
that
है
I
क्या
can go
सोचती
there.
है
But just think
दुनिया
what
में
she's
बड़ा
thinking about.
दुख
She's
है
thinking about what's happening
तकलीफ
in the
है
world,
तकलीफ को कैसे दूर
how
करूं
the difficulties, how the sufferings of the people
इस
of the
तरह
world can
से
be
दादी
removed. So she's not thinking about herself, she's thinking about all the souls of the world.
जीवन में
So
अनुसंधान
what
करके
more
मुझे
can I
नई
share
नई
about these
चीजों को
daddies?
मिला
I've had such wonderful opportunities of being so close with daddies.
अभी हम अरुणा दीदी को बुलाते हैं कि अरुणा दीदी आप प्लीज आइए और भाई साहब के जो इतने सारे अनुभव इन्होंने सुनाए तो आप प्लीज जैसे हम कहते हैं ना कि थोड़ा और भी खजाना जो दबा हुआ है जो निकला नहीं है अभी तक
I'm sure you have many treasures still inside yourself. And so now we're going to ask you a few questions so that everything that's inside you is able to be immersed.
पुरुषार्थ में आगे बढ़े
And then we can take that inspiration and move forward in our efforts.
Thank you, Dr. Banarasi. बहुत आनंद आ रहा है.
Really very happy to hear all of these experiences. And I also remember my days of childhood. And I'd like to share with all of you that when we first used to come to Madhuban, we were very young. And I remember I used to make an excuse. I don't know whether you remember or not. So I used to make this excuse. He would be sitting in the homeopathic clinic in Pandavavan. At that time, it was just Pandavavan. And I would say that I've got a stomach problem, I've got gas. So then we would get limca to drink. So we would say, doctor, I have gas. And so doctor would say, okay, come on, I'm going to give you a limca to drink and you'll be fine. We didn't have gas, but we just wanted to have this drink. And so we would go to the doctor this way. And yes, I know him from childhood. And I know your humility, your love for the yagya. And we've been following you. One question I'd like to ask you, you have mentioned it a little bit, but
जब ये दीदी ने उसका जो जीभ काटना था तो उसको ये एक संकल्प नहीं आया कि
when
मेरे
this
को
daddy whose tongue had to be cut, she didn't have a single thought, why me?
संकल्प मतलब आ सकते थे ना ऐसे कई संकल्प आ सकते थे कि
that they could have had many thoughts.
जैसे आपने कहा मैंने तो जीवन दे दिया, मैंने तो
I've
इतनी
given
सेवा
my
की,
life, I've done
तो
so much
मेरे लिए क्यों
service,
ये
and
हो
so
रहा है?
why
तो
do
एक
I have to
बहुत
go
एक
through
अच्छी
this?
बात है हमको
So
सीखने की।
this is something
तो
very
यहाँ
good
से
for us to
हमारा
learn.
ट्रीटमेंट
We've only doing a little
1936
bit.
से कर रहे हैं।
Dadis have been doing everything from
तो क्या
1936 and
थी
they've done so
उन्होंने
much.
बात,
But
क्या
what
समझा
was
था
it
उन्होंने
in them?
कि
What is
ये
it that they
फल
had
चाहिए था
understood that they didn't actually have
कि
this
मैं
question
क्यों, मेरे को क्यों ये हो
that
रहा है?
why me? Why was I selected for this illness?
उन्होंने ये समझा,
They had
ये
understood.
ज्ञान बहुत स्पष्ट बाबा ने उनको
Baba has
बताया
given
था,
very clear
अंदर उनके
knowledge to
भरा
them.
था और
They were
पूरा
filled with
निकट
this
जीवन
knowledge
बनाया
and
था।
they had
मैं
created their
आत्मा
lives
हूँ, केवल
practically that
ज्ञान
I
में
am a
था, जो
soul. It
केवल
wasn't just
ज्ञान
a
में है,
question
मैं
of
भाषण कर
knowledge.
सकता हूँ,
Not that I have this knowledge and I can give
पूरा
this
सोल
lecture,
कॉन्शियस में हूँ, वो डिपेंड करता है।
but for
जब
how many
दादी
hours
सोल
was I in a
कॉन्शियस में
stage of
होती
soul
थी,
consciousness?
तो
So our
बाबा के
daddies
साथ
always used to remain
जीवन
so
होती थी।
soul conscious. They used to be so
इसीलिए
close to
कोई
Baba.
बीमारी
And this
होती
is why
नहीं,
even if they
वो
did have an
चिंता नहीं
illness,
थी।
they would
अरे
be
हमारे
carefree
साथ
about
तो
it.
बाबा
We
है,
have Baba with
परमात्मा
us.
है,
We have
बाबा
God with
बड़ा
us.
है,
Bab Dada is
तो
with us.
इसलिए उस
And this
बीमारी
is
का
why
उनको चिंतन नहीं होता
they
था।
weren't,
बीमार होती
they
थी,
didn't have any
इसीलिए
thoughts
उनके
about any of
चेहरे
their
पर नहीं आता
illness.
था।
This is why it
एक
wouldn't
बार की
be
बात है, हम
visible
एक
on
बार
their faces.
हम अहमदाबाद दादियों को ले गए हैं, ले जाते
Many
हैं
times
पहले।
I've taken the
तो
daddies to Ahmedabad,
वहाँ के बड़े बड़े डॉक्टर वो
and even
कहते
the
हैं
senior
कि आपकी
doctors who come
दादियों
and
को
say,
ट्रीटमेंट करना बड़ा मुश्किल है।
and they would say,
मैंने
it's
बोला क्यों,
very,
दादियाँ तकलीफ देती है, कुछ बोलती है?
the
बोला
daddies
बोले तो बहुत अच्छा है, वो तो
that
बोलती
is
नहीं है
never speak
और
about
अपने
any of
सर
their
को आंसू से
illnesses. If they were
छुटाती
to
रहती
share
है
something,
और
then it would be
कहती है
easy
कि
for us
डॉक्टर
to
जी
treat them.
आप कैसे
But they
हो?
just keep smiling and they ask
बीमारी
us,
बता के
Doctor, how are
आराम थोड़ी
you?
है,
The
और
daddies
उसको
ask
क्या
us about
कहेंगे?
our health. So what can
मुस्कुराने
we
वाला
do?
व्यक्ति को, चेहरा जिनका इतना
If
खिला हुआ है,
someone's
उनको
face
क्या
is
ट्रीटमेंट दें?
blossomed and
और
smiling,
पेशेंट के पास
what
जाता
kind of
हूँ,
treatment would you
वो
give them?
लिस्ट बना के
When I
रखते हैं
go
कि
to other
डॉक्टर अभी
patients,
आने
they would
वाला है,
have a
तो
list.
ये
They
बात
say,
सुनाएंगे कि
the doctor is
डॉक्टर
going to
साहब
come, and so I'm going
ऐसा
to
हुआ
tell him
था,
I had pain
मेरे
here, I
को
had pain here,
बुखार
this
हुआ था, ये
happened, I
हुआ
was
था, वो हुआ
vomiting,
था।
I had
तो वो
fever.
उनकी
And they would
तकलीफ
talk
को
about all of these
दवाई
things.
के
And so,
हिस्से में ले
hearing
आता था।
about their
और
difficulties, the
दादियाँ
doctor would
बड़ी
easily write
मानसिक
down the
आती हैं,
prescription.
उनको
But the
दृष्टि
daddies
लगती है,
just smile,
उनके
they
चेहरे
would
पर
give
जरा भी
drishti,
बीमारी का कोई
their
तकलीफ
faces
नहीं
would
है,
not have any
लेकिन बोलते हैं
trace, any
हम
sign
क्या
of any
करें,
illness.
इसलिए हमको
So,
बड़ा
what
मुश्किल
treatment could we
पड़ता है
give
उनको
them? So, that's
ट्रीटमेंट
why we
करना।
find it very
तो
difficult to
बाबा का
treat them.
प्रभाव केवल हम लोगों को नहीं, बाहर वाले भी इतना डॉक्टर मानते हैं कि ये दादियों को दवाई ठीक नहीं करता है, बाबा ठीक करता है,
So
परमात्मा।
doctors really believe that it's not the
वो
doctors, it's not the
सामने
medicine that puts the
वो
daddies
सामने
right,
से
but it's
कहती थी
Baba.
कि आप कैसे हो?
नहीं
Hmm.
नहीं, वो दादियां कहती थी डॉक्टर्स को
Daddies
कि
would be
डॉक्टर
asking
जी आप
doctor,
कैसे
doctor,
हो?
how are
दादी
you?
गुलजार को हम एक मिनट और आपके टाइम लेंगे। दादी गुलजार को हम ले गए ब्रिज कैंडी, दो
I had taken daddy to Bridge Candy
ब्रिज
Hospital
कैंडी
2 years
दुनिया का
ago.
माना हुआ हॉस्पिटल है,
It's a
सबसे बड़ा
very
बहुत
famous
सुंदर
hospital,
हॉस्पिटल है।
many senior surgeons
वहाँ
there,
दादी को ले गए, दादी
and we
को
took daddy there.
ग्वालियर नंबर 1 चेस्ट फिजिशियन है, वो किसी को 2 मिनट टाइम नहीं देता है। उसके अंडर में दादी को एडमिट किया, दादी वार्ड में
Daddy had been admitted to this
में थी, तो
place,
दादी के पास जब
and
आते थे
that number one surgeon would come to daddy,
कि
and
भगवान के चेहरे
he
पर
would see daddy
देख
and
के
think
है, वो
there
जो
was
है।
so much
तो
brightness on
दादी
her
सामने
face,
आते थे तो
such a bright aura
दादी
that
पूछती थी
when he would come in
डॉक्टर
front
जी
of
आप
daddy,
ठीक हो?
daddy would ask the
है ना,
doctor,
क्या
Doctor, are you
कोई
fine? Are you
पेशेंट आप
okay?
क्या कोई पेशेंट ने ऐसा नहीं पूछा
And
कि
he
क्या
felt
है,
that
तकलीफ
no other patient has ever asked
है?
the doctor like
तो
that.
पेशेंट समझ के दादी को एडमिट किया था।
We had
तो
admitted daddy there as a
उनके पास,
patient,
लेकिन उन लोगों को, डॉक्टरों को वासना नहीं होने देती
but
थी
the,
हमारी
the
दादी,
daddies never
हमारी
gave the
दादी
feeling that they were a
बीमार
patient.
हैं।
They never had that
और ये
awareness, that
शरीर की बीमारी
consciousness
पर
that they were
आते थे
ill,
हमारा,
because it's the illness of the body, but their
वो
soul is
हमेशा
healthy.
सोल कॉन्शियस में होती थी,
So they
इसलिए
were
शरीर की
always soul
बीमारी उनके ऊपर
conscious.
हावी
And
नहीं
this is
होती थी।
why the illness of the
शरीर
body never
बीमार है,
affected
शरीर
them.
काम नहीं कर रहा है,
The
लेकिन
body
परमात्मा
is
की बहुत
well,
बड़ा
not
शक्ति
well,
है।
the body is not working.
जाते भी उनके चेहरे से जैसे कि
Even as
चमक
Dadi
थी,
Gulzar left her body,
इतने
there
बड़े
was
बड़े
such a
डॉक्टर।
brightness on her face,
अंतिम
such a shine on her
2010
face.
को बॉम्बे से 10 डॉक्टर आए थे।
In the final moments, 10 doctors had come from Bombay. They had come today, even today, they keep on phoning me. All the doctors, all the directors there, they would say that it's an angel who had come to us, an angel that was sent by God. So it was the effort that they made to have the tapasya to be detached from the body. Baba had made them detached from the body, and this is why when Baba became avyak, no one had the feeling that Baba's gone. They gave so much sustenance, so much love. When all of you came, did any of you feel that Baba's gone? Baba was visible in each of the dadis. And so really I feel that we have taken so much love from the dadis. So today, our brothers and sisters should not have the feeling that Dadi is gone. No one should feel that Dadi Janki is no longer here. The love that we have taken from the Dadis, we have to give that to others so that they don't feel that Dadi is not here.
समझती हूँ डॉक्टर बनारसी के उन्होंने ये बिल्कुल समझा कि भगवान अलग है और हमारा हिसाब किताब अलग है
I feel they have understood that God is separate and my karmic account is separate. It's not that because I have God, that God is going to settle my karmic account. On the one side, they're aware that this is God and I'm a child of God and this is my karmic account. So that's why they didn't blame God for anything. Talking about Dadi Prakashmani, she also wasn't well. She wasn't well for many years. So I would like to know in their final moments, their last few moments. When someone's about to leave their body, then they feel that I'm not going to be around for long. So did Dadiji have any such feeling? And not just any regrets as such, but did she have this feeling that I should have done this, I should have done that? Dadi Prakashmani had a lot of love for me from the very beginning. I was the only doctor in the Yagya, and so anyone who wasn't well would come to me. Dadi was always concerned. This place that's called the aeroplane, and there's one brother who was staying there, and no one normally used to go up to that place. And so Dadi said this Pandit stays there. So he said, go and check. He's not, I've not seen him. So I went there and go and check on him. So I went there and he had 104 degree temperature. So I then treated him and then gave Dadi the news. But just imagine, Dadi had this thought that this person not visible. So what's wrong with him? Just go and check. So this was like a touching. So when Dadi had gone into silence, when she wasn't saying anything, every time I would go to Dadi, I would tell her the news of the brothers. I had taken this one to Ahmedabad, I've taken this one to Palanpur. When I used to tell Dadi about all the patients, Dadi would listen with open eyes. And then when I would finish, she would close her eyes. So then I used to ask, Dadi, are you upset with me? She would smile. Now she said, no, you're doing so much service. Why should I get upset with you? And so he said, well, I'm sitting here and you've closed your eyes. And Dadi said, I am making my own effort. And she said, I'm looking at my soul and thinking, how pure have I become? How complete and perfect have I become? And I said, Daddy, there's no need for you to check. You are complete, you are perfect. And seeing you, we receive inspirations. And she said, no, I still have to check myself even deeply. So this was Daddy's effort. When Daddy wasn't well, just sharing in essence, when Daddy wasn't well,
मतलब यज्ञ सेवा करने की बहुत उमंग था। बाबा के टाइम में थोड़े से भाई बहने थे।
Daddy was so enthusiastic about doing service of the yagya.
बाबा के अव्यक्त होने के बाद
After Baba had become avyakt,
चारों तरफ दादी ने तहलका मचा दिया।
Daddy had done so much service in Bharat and in all the lands abroad.
वो सब होते हुए
And whilst all of that was happening, Daddy had disinterest at the final moments. Baba's service is happening, Baba is making everything happen, but she had to just be concerned with her own self in the final moments.
दादी हम बॉम्बे अपने हॉस्पिटल में वेंटिलेटर पर थी एक मास। मैं बात सुनाऊं कि हम लोग मीटिंग करते थे, कहते
We
थे
used to have the meetings.
दादी के लिए ये है, इसको लाया जाएगा तो दादी को जल्दी आराम मिलेगा।
They're saying this doctor, if he was brought to Daddy, then Daddy would be well again. So I would bring a doctor from the Bombay hospital.
अंधेरी अपने हॉस्पिटल में लाने में कितना 1-1.25 घंटा लगता था।
It was from another hospital to the Andheri hospital, an hour and 15 minutes. And I would be sharing, I would give Daddy's introduction. I would tell about Daddy's health condition, and that Daddy's been on the ventilator unit for about a month and a half. And yet when when the doctor would look at Daddy's face, he would then look at me. He's saying that Daddy's been on the ventilator for over a month, and seeing her face, he couldn't believe that she's been on the ventilator for over a month. Means what I'm saying, that doctors could not believe that Daddy is not well. Such was the power of the Dadis. One last thing I'd like to share. When Daddy had to become detached from the body, when she was about to become avyak, then we knew it must be about 10:25. And everyone said Daddy's going to go leave in a few short while. We're seeing the parameters, everything is fine, and suddenly everything goes blank. And we saw Daddy is not there. And everything began to work normally again within a second. And then after 2 minutes, everything went blank again. What was this? When Gulzar Dadi offered bhog after the cremation, Dadi had gone to the subtle region to Baba. She had left the body.
ये संकल्प हुआ कि नहीं मुझे और यज्ञ सेवा करनी है, तो बाबा को कहा कि नहीं बाबा अभी हम यहाँ नहीं रहेंगे।
And then Baba said, Daddy, you want to go back and do more service? And she said no. She said, no, Baba, I don't want to go. But then Baba sent her again, and the machines began to work. But the body was not working. So then Daddy left. Baba was pleased, and Baba said, okay, child, you can go again. But she didn't want to stay here. We saw that Daddy is completely detached, very loving. And seeing her, we didn't feel that Daddy was leaving. But she's just lying there, giving drishti to everyone. And the meter is showing us, the blood pressure machine is telling us that Daddy is leaving. The medicine has stopped working. The machines are telling us that Daddy is going, but Daddy's face is not showing that she's leaving. I've seen many people leaving the body. When the soul is leaving the body, then there's a great pull of on the face. It's like a tug of war, and there's this tension on the face. But seeing Dadi, it was like there's no visible sign. This is the fruit of that tapasya. And I saw Gulzar Dadi in the same way also. When she left, the doctor said, the Dadi is now going to leave. So if you want to call anyone, then please call. And Neeluben said to Dadi, Dadi, you can't leave now. Today it's Shiv Jayanti. Everywhere they'll be offering bhog. So please wait a little while. So the bhog was offered. The flags were hoisted. All the sisters had come. And then she left. She left comfortably.
और हमने ये भी सुना कि दादी एक डॉक्टर के लिए वेट कर रही थी.
We also heard that Dadi was waiting for one particular doctor. As soon as one doctor came, Dadi gave drishti to him and then she left.
सब लोगों को दृष्टि दे करके जा. दादी रुकी, नहीं तो 8 बजे ही दादी की तबीयत खराब हो गई थी. हम लोग तो वहीं थे.
Dadi's health wasn't well from 8 o'clock, but then she was waiting. Some souls hadn't come, the sisters hadn't come, and so they offered bhog. And then afterwards, Dadi left her body. Means this was the karmatic stage. This is what we saw. This is my fortune.
डॉक्टर मैं भी जब दादी गुलजार को मिलने गई थी मुंबई, तो जैसे आपने कहा ना कि दादियों का इतना प्यार था.
I had gone to meet Dadi Gulzar in Bombay, and just like you said that they had so much love for Baba. At first I met her from a distance, and then Neeluben said, come closer. So I came close to Dadi, and then she started playing. Do you know who she is? And Dadi nodded. She didn't say anything.
इस उसके दिल में कौन है?
Neeluben then asked, who is in her heart? And Dadi didn't say anything. And she said, it's Dadi, Dadi in her heart. And then Neeluben asked, who is in your heart? And Dadi instantly said, Baba. Otherwise, she wasn't saying anything. But then this moment when she was asked, who is in your heart? Then she said, Baba. We felt that she was not there, but as soon as she heard Baba,
तो सचमुच जैसे आप कह रहे हो ने दादियों के दिल में बस बाबा ही है.
Like you said, there's only daddies who are in their heart. They didn't have any fear in their final moments. For none of the daddies, there was never any sign of fear. When the soul leaves the body, they leave out of fear. I didn't witness this in any of the daddies. I was there most of the time when majority of the daddies left, and I said that they leave very easily, very comfortably. The practice of being detached from the body over a long period of time.
हमको कुछ बीमारी के वश हमको ऐसी कुछ दवाई लेनी पड़ती है जिसमें कुछ एनिमल प्रोडक्ट है, तो वो लेना चाहिए या नहीं?
Question is, should we take a medicine if it has any animal products in it? There are alternate medicines which don't have any animal products. If there isn't any alternate medicines which don't have any, all homeopathic medicines are made with alcohol. But it is such a small percentage that it doesn't have any effect on the body or the mind in that way. If there is such a medicine, which is the only medicine for a particular illness, then you should take it, even though it might have something which you don't want to take. After all, medicine is medicine. And Baba says, you can make the world pure. So can you not purify this tiny little medicine? Just give drishti, give powerful drishti to it, give sakash to it, and then take that medicine, offering it to Baba. Baba, you feed me this, and then see how it works wonders. We have to earn an income through this body. We have to do tapasya through this body. We have to do service through this body. And so if the body is not well, how can we have yoga? How can we do tapasya? How can we earn an income? And so this is why if there is some alternate medicine, then fine, we should take that. But if there isn't, then you should not hesitate taking that, because you have to save your body, you have to protect your body.
और किसी का प्रश्न है कि अंतिम समय किसी को कुछ विजन आया था जिसने आपको सुनाया था, कुछ कुछ ऐसे दृश्य दिखाई दिया था किसी को, कोई हमारे सीनियर्स को? किसी का
उनको प्लानिंग था, सेवा की प्लानिंग थी। हमारे जगदीश भाई शरीर,
did any of the seniors have any visions? And then all of them had done their final planning. Like Jagdish Bhai, he had planned, he had been told by the doctors that they can't do anything anymore. So he had come back to Madhuban instead of being in the hospital. And then he was talking about this plans about the Sonipat. He left his body, was making plans for service in this place, a retreat center. He had a meeting in the ICU unit where he called all the people who were working on this project. He was in Jaslok Hospital in Bombay for 1 month. His liver had cancer. And he was in a lot of difficulty, a lot of pain, but yet he didn't allow any of that to be visible on his face. When the senior doctors would come in, they would salute to him and say, "What is your blessing for me today?" And then they would take a blessing from him and then write down the medicine for him. Dadi Gulzar, also so many senior doctors looked at her, checked and took care of her, but none of them took any fees from her. They would all consult one another and then decide which medicine to give to Dadi Gulzar. They would say, Baba is the one who's performing miracles. So if we remember Baba with so much love, if we serve the yagya with so much, then Baba truly looks after us. Why would we need to think about our body? It was very good that you shared that if you do God's service, then everything is present for you. When Dadi Gulzar left her body, then just thinking from childhood until she didn't earn, she didn't have a Lokik job as such, and yet she was looked after so well. So many people have this thought, who's going to look after me if I fall ill? Who's going to take care of me? So maybe you can tell us for that. If I've given my life to God, people outside, they live their lives with blind faith. Meera had just had a vision. Narad had just had a vision, and on the basis of that vision, they had given their lives. Otherwise, she could have thought, I'm the queen of this Rana Rajput family, and so, but it was her love for Krishna. In the same way, we are doing service in God's yagya, and we have the faith that we're going to give every bone for service, and yet nothing's going to happen to us. Even if something happens, then Baba is responsible, and he will make someone or the other an instrument and send that person to look after me. Some Kumar say, if we fall ill, who's going to look after us? Dadi would say, you are tapasya kumars, and so do so much tapasya that even if you do fall ill, then Baba will send someone or other to look after you. And I've seen it happen. It's happening. It's that faith, the faith in the intellect that has led them to that victory. And so to have that faith in the yagya, whose yagya is it? It's my fortune really to be serving the yagya, that I have this opportunity.
डॉक्टर ओके ये टाइम जा रहा है बस एक कहानी कुछ रमेश भाई की सुना दो
Please share one story about Ramesh Bhai's final moments.
भाई का हम ये कहेंगे कि रमेश भाई अंत तक उन्होंने भी बहुत सारी तकलीफें हुई लेकिन
Ramesh Bhai also had many difficulties. He had to have the dialysis treatment for so long, but yet there was never any suffering. He never made any complaints. At that time when Mama had cancer and there wasn't a place for her to stay, and Baba had said for her to come to Madhuban, and he said, no, where is she going to stay? And he said, I'll give my house for Mama to stay, and so she can stay here. And so he kept Mama at his home. And so Baba had given him a blessing that you won Baba's heart and you are a jewel of victory. So till the final moments, he didn't have, yes, the body was going through everything. He had to take the dialysis treatment, but he didn't, the soul wasn't suffering. There wasn't any kind of desperation, any kind of feeling not being well. In the last few days, we brought him from Bombay to the hospital here. This was 8 o'clock in the morning. The Murli was being conducted, and then the soul just left very comfortably. And his sacrifice also is not a small thing. If you're going to live, then just live for service. This is what Dr. Banarasi had said. He gave his every penny, every paisa for Baba's service. He was the chief accountant for Baba's yagya. And from the time of the beggary part, he's been watching the yagya, seeing the yagya from the beggary part. And this is why we see he's made a lot of sacrifice for the yagya. Any other questions?
बस ये एक लास्ट
आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी बस ये एक लास्ट प्रश्न ले लेते हैं ये बेन कह रही है प्लीज मेरा प्रश्न पूछ लो तो प्रश्न ये है कि कभी हम बीमारी के बारे में इतना नहीं सोचते हैं लेकिन खर्चे के बारे में सोचते हैं जो खर्चा होगा
Sometimes we don't think about the illness but we think about the expenses for the treatment of the illness. So you mustn't think about the expenses. Drama is repeating identically. So whatever I had spent in the previous kalpa, wherever it had come from, the same will happen. Why should we think about it? We are trustees. We've given our lives to Baba. We keep Baba with us. But we don't cry out thinking, oh my God, I have this illness, I have cancer, I have this, I have that, but not that. But it's good that it's happened because then I feel God is with me. If it weren't for Baba, then who?
समर्पित बहन की बात है उसको लग रहा है कि मेरे को नहीं लेना चाहिए यज्ञ से
नहीं ऐसा नहीं आज हमारी बहुत सारी बहनें होती है छोटे छोटे सेंटरों पर होती है
The question of a surrendered sister who's thinking she shouldn't take any expenses from Baba, and he says no, it shouldn't be like that. Nirvai had made announcement that any surrendered sister who is not well If she doesn't have any finances, then she should be given full treatment. Dadi always used to say you have to win the patient's heart. Whether the sister is from a small center, a big center, but don't take any money from her. The yagya is there to look after her. Doesn't matter how much it is, but the yagya will take care. Surrendered brothers and sisters have to remain carefree. Okay, not abroad, but even in this land, in India, people are getting very good treatments.
निर्भय भाई ने कहा कि नहीं दीदी को मेरे से बोलो मिले और यहाँ इनकी ट्रीटमेंट हम कराएंगे।
I told Nirvay Bhai about Sudesh Pen's treatment, and I said she could have perfect treatment in Germany, and he said no, she has to have full treatment in Madhuban. Okay, daddies are not here, but even then the seniors have a big heart, and this is what they have taught us. This is what daddies have taught us. Anyone who is not well, let them be sustained so well that they don't remember their home, they don't remember their Lokik relatives. Then they will remember Baba. Look after everyone so that they don't remember anyone else. But some souls, there's a small thing and they make it into a big thing, and other souls, it's a big thing and they make it very small. But the main thing is we have to have faith in Baba, and Baba will be there to do everything for us. We just have to use Baba, we call Baba, we go to Baba. We have super treatments abroad, but in Bharat we have super love. In Bharat also they have very good treatments. Just today I was discussing with Nirvay Bhai.
विदेश गया आज हमारी ये बहन को आप कहते हैं कि हम इंडिया में यहाँ कराएंगे, बोला कि अंबानी अंबानी है, जो इंडिया में होगा वो विदेश में नहीं होगा। निर्भय भाई की भावना, ये हमारी बात।
Ambani, you know, is a very wealthy person. They said he's living in India, but he had gone abroad for treatment. So Nirvay Bhai says it doesn't matter. Ambani is Ambani, but we have very good treatment here, and so we would call people from there also to come and take treatment here. Baba said, whichever doctor you go to, then doctors would call you. All the doctors have been to Madhuban, they've been at the conferences, and they have such a high vision for us that they don't make us wait any time, but they take care of us instantly. Let's remember, Baba is the greatest emperor. We are as his children. Just think who you have given your life to. So why should you think of any expenses? Not to think of your illness, not to think of your expenses. Just think, wow, my fortune that I belong to God. God has accepted me and made me belong to him. You serve the world and the world will serve you. It's been very wonderful listening to you. I'm sure everyone loved it also. I also loved meeting all the brothers and sisters. I used to remember the days when the foreigners used to come, that they used to come, but today I've come to all of you, so really it's been my pleasure also.
बनारसी को बाद में सुनाते हैं और अभी पवित्र को कहती हूँ जो अनाउंसमेंट्स है वो अनाउंस कर देवे, फिर हम थोड़ा योग करते हैं.
So now, just if you'd like to write which country you're from, and then after the announcements, we can tell Dr. Banarasi which countries were present. We'll have a little bit of meditation. Today you have touched so many things which many of Baba's children was always thought about what would have happened about the daddies. And behind closed doors is just the doctors and the patient who's there. But today you shared with us all the expansion. The main effort is your stage of soul consciousness. So first I'd like to make the announcements. You can please take a snapshot of the picture. Yes, Sister Jayanti's revision on Monday. Monday is the Sunday, 16th May, Avyakt Murli's revision.
This class, Murli revision. And the other is here. We have another very nice program coming up on Saturday, 26th.
Saturday with Brij Mohan Bhai on 22nd May. This is 8:30 to 9:30 India time. We'll send you the finer details later on. This was only finalized yesterday, so we haven't yet prepared the finer details, but we'll send it to you soon. Many, many thanks. So first we'll have yoga. So people, where have they come from? First we'll have 2 minutes.
हाँ जी भाई सब दिख रहे हैं सामने कोई लंदन से है
some from London, some from Bahrain, Germany, Portugal, India, Spain, Turkey, Greece, Switzerland, Netherlands, of course from Bharat too, many people from Bharat, many from the Middle East. I am from Egypt. No one's writing from Egypt. Many from London.
बहरीन से जैसे बताया मिडिल ईस्ट से तो अभी हम कुछ देर बाबा की याद में बैठते हैं और फिर हम
थैंक यू भाई साहब ओम शांति
थैंक यू दीदी थैंक यू कभी भी आप
Thank you to everyone. Anytime you request, I'll be ready. I'm very happy. Question, answer, or class, happy to come.
चाहता है प्रभु तुमको निहारने को दिल ये चाहता है मन में उतारने को दिल ये चाहता है तुम सामने तुम साथ में हमारे तुम सामने हमारे तुम साथ में हमारे तो भी पुकारने को दिल ये चाहता है तुमको निहारने को दिल ये चाहता है मन में उतारने को दिल ये चाहता है ये ज्योति बिंदु प्यारा क्या रूप है तुम्हारा किरणों ने रूहों का रूप है संवारा रूप है संवारा किस्मत संवारा